And welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over the top 20 trainer galleries from the Sword and Shield era. This is going to cover a combination of black borders, yellow borders, and trainer cards. I did exclude gold cards because they are personally not to my preference, but do note that they are part of the trainer galleries even though they're no trainers in the actual cards. A quick note, with the prominence of alternate arts and then the rise of illustration rares, I believe trainer galleries are hidden gems that have been criminally overlooked. I personally have a trainer binder with a section dedicated specifically to these cards. Trainers provide a clear relationship between the show and games, providing a deeper connection between collectors and their cards. They also feature trainers that are extremely expensive in the Sun and Moon and prior eras and are easier to acquire in this form. So without wasting any more time, let's get to my top 20 picks. For number 20, we have ourselves Nessa from Lost Origin. This is a complete trainer card, no Pokemon featured in it, but I personally love this card. I love the blue. I feel like, okay, every time I say this, I feel like I'm being redundant, but it's true. Whenever there's water, whenever there's a Pokemon underwater, or just water in a card, I don't know why, I just love it. I feel like there's something so peaceful and attractive about those kinds of cards, and this card's no exception. We have ourselves Nessa, the gym leader, the water type gym leader from the Galar region. I personally loved playing Pokemon Sword, and all the gym leaders were really, really amazingly designed. Nessa is no exception. I particularly enjoyed her relationship with Sonia as a best friend, and there was also this little short film that they created about Nessa and Milotic that she befriends. I really, really love that little clip as well. And so this card, I think it's such a well done card. I love how there's so many gym leaders in the actual trainer galleries during Sword and Shield, and this is particularly my favorite. The price is pretty well reasoned. I'm not going to talk too much about prices here in this video because this is more so about the artworks, and I'm going to cover all ranges of prices. Number 19, we have Blissey V from Silver Tempest. This is an iconic duo. I've mentioned it in the past when I chose the Chansey card for one of my top cards, illustration rares in general. I love Chansey and Nurse Joy. In this case, we have Chansey's Evolution, Blissey. Such an iconic duo, a beautiful card. It's so simple, but it really does. I love the pink hues, sort of accentuating the general hospital vibe, and their two colors, they just match so well. It's very simple artwork, but again, it has a great connection to the show, to the game. Everybody knows Nurse Joy, and this card brings out the best in Blissey. Number 18, and I have two cards for this particular category. I decided not to split it up because they are pretty similar. Ice Rider Calyrex and the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. I've decided to group them both together. They are pretty much just a preference in my opinion. They're very, very close in price, just distinguished by a few cents, as you see. And I think these two cards are quite lovely. If you don't want to get those enormously expensive VMAX alternate arts from Chilling Reign, you can purchase the Astral Radiance Trainer Gallery cards, which are, in my opinion, quite beautiful as artworks. Particularly, I like the Ice Rider. You have Peony over here, the guy from the extension in Sword and Shield. And then you also have the male character that you play during Sword and Shield. The two cards strongly tied to the game. Not too much going on except for the VMAX dungeons kind of popping up. But yeah, so front and center Pokemon all the way through, and then the trainers just hopping alongside, flying by. Again, two cards that are under $5. Pretty amazing deals. Number 17, we have Friends in Galar. This is a crazy good full art. I love it whenever they make these cards, like the Friends in Alola card, which was exclusively in Japanese. And I just fell in love with that card. All the main characters, you can't go wrong. This card features all of the main characters from the game, the female and male characters you can play, Gloria and the male character. Then you have all the rivals, Bee, Hop, and Marnie. Marnie is a beloved character. As you can see in any of the cards it manifests as, they have all gone up, and this card has just an amazing connection to the game. I also love the two cards that they came out with in Crown Zenith, the Friends in Hisui and Friends in Sinnoh. I personally am going to try and collect every single Friends in card, and this is one that I still have to get my hands on. I think this is a perfect time to do it. Under $5 again, a great deal. Next up, we have Charizard from Lost Origin. This is our first yellow border card, and not the last, in fact. I personally loved Leon's character, a great character to add for the final challenge slash hurdle for Ash to overcome. After he became the Alola League champion, he didn't really have any more ambitions in the sense that, yes, he was still out there to become a Pokemon Master, but he didn't have a specific goal to tackle. By creating Leon and this huge monarch that's unbeatable and incredibly strong, it really gave direction to his character during those last 3 seasons. I particularly loved his Charizard. I love seeing strong Charizards. We had Charizard that was Ashes. We had a Charizard that was Alon's. I'm not sure if I'm missing any others, but then now we have Leon. Really amazing. I was so stoked to see this card. And again, really, really great price. Anyone who's watched the show, watched Ash's final few episodes in the regular series. I'm not talking about that side bit with 11 episodes. But yeah, this is definitely going to hold a place in people's heart. Next up, a card that I love because it's just so adorable. The Pikachu from Lost Origin, the yellow border. It's very, very cute. I just love the way Pikachu's kicking this girl in the face while they're sleeping. This is a female character you play in Arceus Legends. I haven't yet to play that game. I've seen some playthroughs, and I am super excited to get my hands on it. I finished playing Scarlet a few months ago, and I've been sort of between things right now. So before the school year starts again for uni, I want to try and play through Arceus Legends. I usually just blaze through the Pokemon games, finish it in like 3, 4 days most of the time. But I heard that Arceus Legends is a little more crafting and things going on, so I'm not quite sure how quickly I'll be able to do it. But yeah, I'm sure anyone who's played the game will have a particular liking for this card just because they see the female protagonist that you play as a character. Next up, we have finally another black border, Zacian V. It's again a very simple card, just a simple background, not even a ruin really. It's just a pretty chill background. I'm not even sure if this is that location in the game where you go and pick up the old sword and the old shield. Zacian V is handing Hop the momentous sword that allows it to transform when it takes it. And this is again a tie to the sword game. Very, very cool. I played Sword through personally, and I loved the way that Zacian transforms when it has that sword in its mouth. And Hop is a little bit of an annoying rival, but I've come to enjoy him. He's not a bad character for sure. He was definitely a fun one, although he's always, trying to catch up to you, trying to be Leon. He finally has somewhat of a groove going on at the end, and it's pretty cool to see. Next up, we have a card that I personally have 2 copies of in my collection. This is the Superior V from Silver Tempest. I pulled one very, very early on in my return to the hobby, and then I got a second one at some point. I believe it was like a few months ago. I love this card. It's so gorgeous. Superior is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, Unova region starter. And I mean, Emboar is not that great. I don't like it. Samura, I just have a bit of a connection with because I played it so much in the games. But if I have to be objective, I'd say Superior is definitely the best starter. And you have Rosa right here, which I believe is a Rosa, and this is the most expensive card in Cosmic Eclipse, going for close to $200 last I checked. Beautiful background, and so yeah, this card is absolutely gorgeous for that reason. Next up, this is actually my first Black Border Trainer Gallery, the one that I pulled from my first ever booster box from Sword and Shield. When I came back to the hobby, I opened up an Astral Radiance box, pulled a Beedrill alternate art, and this Galarian Moltres V, and I was astonished by its beauty and its simplicity. It connected to the game again, so I love that. And Gloria was definitely a cool character to play as. I really, really love the Galarian Moltres V. How the red flames accentuate the black body of the Moltres. It's a really cool design, in my opinion. The best Galarian alternate of the 3 original birds. And it's really cool how the Moltres stands out in that black and blue backdrop. Next up, we have Blaziken V from Silver Tempest, the Trainer Gallery V. is, in my opinion, better than the VMAX because you can actually see more of Blaziken, a little bit of his fighting type aesthetic, and of course, May's partner throughout is going to be Torchic and then Combusken, and then finally evolves into Blaziken. There's that iconic fight between May and her Blaziken against Ash and his Zeptile. I loved that episode. It was such a peak climax ending. I don't know, it's a weird way to describe it, but for an ending, it was very high energy, climactic, and exciting. I enjoyed it. And I was so sad when those characters departed when I was watching you. And I was somewhat like, I was probably like 10 years old when I was watching that. I was so sad when May and her, I didn't really care about Max to be honest, but I was super sad when May left because I loved her rivalry with Drew and Harley. I preferred May's storyline over Ash's in the Hoenn region until the Frontier Brains came along. I really didn't care about Ruby and Sapphire for Ash, but yeah, May was the one that anchored it for me, and I loved this artwork as soon as I saw it. So colorful as well. Next up, we have Mimikyu V. Personally, I hated the animation style and everything for Sun and Moon, but anyway, skipping through that, these two are an iconic duo. Actually, she has a ghost Mimikyu. It's kind of weird to say, but it's a literal ghost. This seems to be a real Mimikyu. There's a really cute Gengar right here, the right side of the card, and there's also a Mimikyu portrait back here. I don't know why Acerola is so mortified by the scene she's seeing. I have no idea what Mimikyu's watching on this TV. Don't think I want to know. There's a bunch of popcorn spilled along the floor. I'm sure something devious is happening here. I don't want to know more about it, but it's such a clean artwork. I really love it. Another card that has dipped dramatically over the past 3 months, and another card that's perfect time to grab it. I personally have not gotten this card yet, and I have been waiting for the opportune moment. Now is the time. I am going to go shopping for cards soon. I wanted to give myself a bit of a break, see how the market was moving for trainer galleries. I bought the Umbreon V, the Sylveon V in the past, and V Max, sorry, and so now I'm looking for amongst the cards that I have mentioned and will mention, this is one of those cards that I need to still pick up. Next up, we have Sylveon V, another card that I am looking to purchase soon. I have the Sylveon V Max, still need the V. As we see again, a card that has taken quite the blow, 22% drop pretty much. $20 is quite a reasonable price for this card. I think it is on the money in terms of its intrinsic value at the time. A card that really outshines, in my opinion, even the some of the alternate art. I remember the episode where Valerie shows up, really cool episode. I remember, funny enough, after meeting Sawyer, he thinks that Serena and Bonnie are models because they're up on the runway. Pretty cool card because Valerie can actually literally speak to fairy types. So Sylveon is amongst those Pokemon in her team that she can communicate to, and a card that I am going to love seeing in my binder. A card that I randomly pulled from a Walmart mystery pack. This is the Rayquaza VMAX from Silver Tempest, the second most valuable card in the set overall. A card that, despite its drop, I think there is time to wait before purchasing it. It's gone already down dramatically. I pulled it when it was at $55. Now it has plummeted further given the God packs in Silver Tempest that are simply popping up more and more often in the US, particularly. I'm seeing this card show up more often in stores. I think this card will see continued drop at least over the next few months in the long term, unless there's some huge reversal or some huge uptick in the trainer gallery market, could create sort of a bubble effect and temporarily create the illusion of value for this VMAX Rayquaza. Its intrinsic value, in my opinion, is below $35 due to the sheer quantity of these cards, the ultra rares in the set that are present. So any Silver Tempest card I would personally hang off on, but this is again one of the best artworks. Next up, a card that I recently acquired in pristine condition. I was so excited to see it. I'm pretty sure it'll be a PSA 10 if I were to grade it. Sylveon VMAX from Brilliant Stars. It's again the same duo, same pair. A lot of pink. If it's really just a preference thing here in this card. I love how the Sylveon pod just stretches out and its feelers or its ribbons are really accentuated in the card. The petals, everything about it screams out fairy type. And another card that has had an incredibly rough past 3 months, but a great opportunity for collectors. Number 6 is Umbreon VMAX. You might be wondering why this isn't higher up on my list, but I think if you see the next 5 cards, you'll definitely agree with me that not worthy of being higher, but not worthy of being lower either. I don't even know who this character is, truth be told. I can't lie, I don't know who this is. And I think the Umbreon looks a little bit weirdly shaped, but I definitely prefer it to the Moonbreon. I think the Moonbreon's a nice card, but is it $800 value? No, I don't think so. I would rather just buy this card on any day of the week. You can barely even see the trainer, to be honest. This actually reminds me of the surroundings for Daredevil's home. What's it called? Hell's Kitchen. So I don't know, that kind of has a little background effect to me. Value-wise, it has dropped dramatically. Again, a card that I will be acquiring soon. Perhaps I might wait to see if there's a true plateau or if there's a further dip, but this is definitely a card that I'm picking up in the near future. Next up is Pikachu V from Lost Origin. This card, I was debating on whether I should switch the V and VMAX spots, but the V I just felt like should be a little bit lower just because the VMAX has so much more color. But if you're just about the connection, for me, some of the best episodes in Pokemon were those 4 episodes that they created Pokemon Origins based off of the original game. Super cool. I loved Red and his story. I loved the simplicity of it, just like gotta catch them all, become the strongest. That was it, pure and straight through. And this Pikachu art is really clean. As Pikachu artworks go, I think this is amongst the best. I have it for my collection. I got it actually at $30 Canadian. So it was a while back, about 5, 6 months back, very early on in the year. And there was this temporary spike, of course, in the late May to early June time. As soon as it hits 20, that's the perfect price and the perfect time to grab it. Number 4 is the Umbreon V. I love this card. I think it's actually better, but like, everyone has their own opinion. I think this is better than the VMAX, hence the listing in 4th place over the Umbreon and VMAX in 6th. This one just has, I don't know what it is, but when I held it in my hand, I just knew I had to have it. I ended up getting it for around $30 USD. It has since dropped further. The reason I decided to get it, I knew it was going to keep going down just because of the general trajectory of Altarts at the time. But I decided during like mid-June when it was going for like a little bit over the market price at $30 or so, because it was I think at 28 or so, and I got it for 30 USD because first off, in-person purchases don't have shipping, so also take all those into account. But it was in such good condition. I knew it was PSA 10, no question asked. And besides, when you hold it in your hand, there is something about the background. It acts as a sort of prop for Umbreon, making it just stand out in a most unique fashion. But the background being just a muted version of the Umbreon's sort of grayish black color, it just stands out like crazy. Number 3 is Pikachu VMAX. I love this card because of the show, the chunky Pikachu. I just found it so cute when Ash tosses it up with his hands and makes it Gigantamax. I didn't even expect that to happen. I didn't realize Pikachu would become so chubby. It was so adorable, and it also reminds me of that really cool statue that they added in the celebrations box. And Red, again, one of my favorite characters. Need I say more? Another card that has had a great drop. I think it can keep going, honestly. I would get it at $30. If I see it at $30, I'm grabbing it as soon as I see it. Number 2 is Garchomp V, my favorite champion, Cynthia, because Diamond and Pearl was one of my favorite series. It was my favorite series until X and Y came out. Now, far superior champion than any other. I still like her better than Leon. Her Garchomp was amazing, such a cool pseudo legendary, and worthy of being her partner. She's the first proper champion that they introduced in the show. I know Lance showed up, but he was technically part of the Elite Four at the time, and Steven was in Ruby and Sapphire, but again, he was not even mentioned as an Elite Four champion. He was just sort of the son of this huge businessman. Yeah, huge drop. This has had a really stable run, so this is definitely its intrinsic value is at $25. That's it. I'm grabbing this card as soon as I see it. If I find a perfect copy out, I'm just grabbing it now because I don't want to risk later down the road, it being something like 20, maybe even $17, but just having those white ticks, it just kills it for your collection. Doesn't make it worth it at that point because it's just not perfect. At that point, I don't know, it just doesn't make it worthwhile getting in the near mint form. I may as well just pay for the lightly played, have more scuffs, have more edge work on the back, and have a nice front. That's enough. But if I want a pristine condition, or if I want a near mint, I want it pristine. That's all. Finally, for number one, we have Starmie V from Astro Radiance, the trainer gallery that set my heart on fire. Honestly, y'all, I loved this card as soon as I saw it. Such a unique take. I love the way that was a top-down view. A lot of these other cards are very standard, the portrait size. The artist is kind of looking on to the scene in front of them or beside them or something of that nature. This is a top-down view and it really has a very little three-dimensional effect, but it has a charm because of it. The shading does act to provide a bit of a 3D effect on Starmie and a little bit on this white inflatable. But it's so colorful and in the right way. It's not that sort of abstract colorful that just doesn't hit right with me sometimes. This is the right way to do it. I love the little palm trees as well. My favorite types of plants to have in the house. And Misty, iconic character, need I say more? But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below what your personal favorite trainer gallery card is from the Sword and Shield era. Let me know about your stories. If you pulled any, I'd love to hear them. Particularly, that Beedrill and then that Moltres really just set off a huge chain for me. I reopened my love for Pokemon cards. So yeah, hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.